What's up? In this video, I want to show you the exact appointment setting process that we use at Axelite.io that has allowed us to generate 30 to 50 appointments per month without heavily relying on ads. Of course, we do go into ads at a certain point, but we're going to show you the process that allows you to not heavily rely on ads and spend upwards of $5,000 per month just to get low quality leads that never end up converting. This system is specific for cold outbound, from cold email to cold calls to cold DMs. So you're going to see it's heavily focused on that. And we want to reach out to as many people as possible because that is going to give us the best chance at success. And you also, I don't mention this in the video, but you also want to be tracking every single thing. If you're not tracking it, it didn't happen. You're not going to know when to follow up, who replied, who's interested, who you sent the calendar link to, and all of the above. So you want to make sure you're tracking everything. Just keep that in mind and stay till the end, because I'm going to also mention the pre-call workflows that you can implement into your Go High Level or into any CRM that you're using to make sure that all these leads that you're booking from the outbound are actually showing up to the calls. It's going to allow you to basically indoctrinate your prospects into your system, to your values, into your beliefs, so they can actually show up to the call and you're not left there standing like a deer in headlights, right? Because that's one of the most annoying things. You get leads, you book them onto a call, and they don't actually show up. We want to indoctrinate them into what your company is, so that they believe in what you have to offer them and they can close with ease. So stay through the end because I don't want you to be confused, and I'll see you on the other side. So it's the entire appointment setting system that is reliably booking us over 50 appointments per month. Stay till the end, like I mentioned before, because I'm going to give you our exact appointment setting workflow and show you how you can implement it into your Go High Level. So like I mentioned, if you want to book a minimum of 50 calls per month, these are the things that you need to be implementing, and you need to hold yourself accountable to be doing every single thing. And you also need to be tracking every single thing, because if you don't have your numbers, if you don't have data, you're not going to know that this ever existed, and how are you going to hold yourself accountable, right? So the first thing is cold calls. Cold calls are super annoying and nobody likes to do them. When I first started, I was doing maybe 10 cold calls a day, 15 cold calls a day, and then upwards of 100 cold calls a day. And they are the most mentally draining things that you're probably ever going to do, but they do work. And if you want to delegate it, you could delegate it and you can get someone to do it. But I suggest that you do it yourself at first and then eventually delegate it, because to be able to teach it, you need to know how to do it yourself. So you need to be doing a minimum of 100 dials per day. You need to split test cold calling scripts. So don't just have one, you need to have multiple. Ideally, you have at least like 3 to 4, but if you have two works as well. And you want to get at least a 50% pitch rate. So for example, if you have 100 dials within a day, you want to be able to be pitching at least 50 people. If you're not pitching 50 people, then you need to improve that script. And whatever script works where you're pitching at least 50 people, then you want to just double down on that one. You want to continue with that script and that script only. You don't want to go with anyone else. And then as soon as it starts getting exhausted, let's say your first 100 dials in a day, you get 50% pitch rate, and then the next day you get a 50%, but the next day you get a 40, and then it starts to decline slowly. That's when you want to kind of adjust it, and you want to track exactly where these people are kind of dialing off, or where they're starting to lose interest during the call, and where they're starting to kind of lose focus in what you're speaking to them about, what you're pitching them. And then you want it from that 50%, you also want a 5% booking rate. So 100 dials, you want five booked calls. It's going to either be an intro call, so you can book another like 10 to 15 minute call where you're calling them on the phone, just giving them a little bit more information, because most of the time they're going to be pretty busy. You're probably calling them at a bad time. Or it could be a sales call. Ideally, it's a sales call. You want to do like a 1 call close. And from there, it's just going to be a lot easier for you. You don't have to go through so many hoops. And you also want to update the scorecard. So when it says update the scorecard, that basically means it's just your tracking system. Whatever you're using for tracking is perfectly fine. I actually have our outbound tracking right here. You can't see it, but I basically have over 2,000 leads in the pipeline right now, and we're tracking when we sent the message, we're tracking how many follow-ups I've done, if we book them, if we close them, and we're also giving them personalized openers that we use with AI. If you want to do that, I'm sure there's many videos out there that show you how you can use personalized openers with AI and automation, but basically, the key thing here is not that. It's basically just you need to follow up, and you need to know who is interested, who you sent messages to, and also how many you're doing per day, because that's really important. And then you also do weekly tweaks based on the data. So whatever data you're getting from all this above, or you can also do your booking rate, your closing rate, all the data, you want to do weekly tweaks to your scripts, to how many dials you're doing, if you need to increase volume or if you need to delegate it. whatever it is, you need to do that. Okay, so next one is paid ads. Paid ads is a great way if you have a little bit of capital to invest into yourself. Now, it's probably better than all the other ones because of the amount of traffic that you can get and the amount of traffic at scale that you can get. And you really only need to be spending about $1,000 per month. And this really depends, of course, at what stage you are in the business. If you're not making any money, $1,000 per month will do. Get a job, get a part-time, full-time job, and just allocate $1,000 per month in ad spend. I'm sure you can do it. You want to aim for at least a $50 cost per book call. If it's any higher than that, you need to figure out why it's like that, why maybe something wrong with your creatives, your campaign. Most of the time it's creatives and it's messaging and everything like that. You want to be creating 3 new ads per week. You can Facebook, you can go in the ad library of Facebook and you can funnel hack all your competitors and see exactly what they're doing and basically just replicate their ads and basically their funnel as well. So you can opt in, book a call with them if you'd like. I suggest you doing that and basically see their pre-call workflows, their ads, their creatives, their headlines. And most of the time, if they've had it, especially if you look on the Facebook ad library, you can filter it by the longest lasting campaign. So the campaign has been up the longest. You scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to find the one that's been active the longest. Those are usually the ones that have worked the best. So you want to optimize for a less than $50 cost per book call. And then you also want to do daily optimization based on that data that you find here. There's also other data like cost per lead, there's cost per CPM. And then you're going to have like the amount of impressions don't really matter. All these other things don't really matter. You want to look for just cost per lead, cost per book call, maybe your CPM, your click-through rate if you're running through a external landing page. If you're doing Facebook lead forms, that's a little bit different. But things like that you want to be looking for. So if you're building out a landing page and not doing a Facebook lead form, you want to write your VSL landing page. You can also you can funnel hack your competitors for that as well. And you want to split test funnels. It's always important to split test things because you never know what's going to work at first. You always split test 2 different things, 3 different things, whatever it is. For this is funnels, so where you're sending them, if you're sending them through a lead form or through a landing page. And then you also want to develop your landing page. There's so many different videos out there. You can even get AI to create your landing page for you. In this case, we're going to do weekly optimizations based on the data, and that's exactly what we do. So we'll split test funnels on Go High Level, gather data from that, and optimize that based off which one's converting better, and just double down on that one. So that is paid ads. Cold SMS now. Cold SMS is something that you need to be very, very careful with because you can't necessarily be sending out mass DMs to people without them opting in. So I'm going to tell you, I'm not suggesting that you do this because you can't really be sending mass DMs, but do with this at your own precaution. If you want to send out mass DMs to people, then don't hold me responsible for any of this. I'm not giving you advice. This is just a method that I've seen people use in the past. So you want to be doing at least 100 messages per day. Buy about 3 numbers on Twilio. You can buy them on Go High Level as well. And then set up the A2P compliance. Very, very simple. They have templates on Go High Level, and you can also just ask for advice from people who have already done it. It's simple. Just basically you're just being compliant and saying that you won't send out messages. But after this is all done, you won't send out mass messages to people who haven't opted in. That's what I mean. But after this is done, it doesn't really matter. You just want to be A2P compliant. You want to aim for a 2% meeting book rate because the thing is a lot of these messages are going to be probably from landlines depending on what industry you're in. Ideally, if you're in a local service business, a lot of them will be landlines. Like if you're dealing with remodelers or landscapers, med spas, dentists, lawyers. Most of the time it's going to be a landline. I've seen that a lot of the healthcare industry has more cell phones than so the remodelers and med spas have more cell phones than lawyers would probably have. But anyways, just something to keep in mind, 2% meeting book rate. You also want to set up your intro call script. So once they show interest, you want to call them right away. And then you want to write the setting sequence and set up sales assets. So if they show interest but a little bit of skepticism, because they're getting a cold, message. Every time you get a cold message, I bet you think it's it's like a scam, right? So you want to write the setting sequence. You want to test a bunch of different ways. Also set up sales assets. So basically just record them a quick video. You also send them a resource that they would want. That's just their desired situation that can help them kind of solve some of their pain, not all their pain, some of their problems, save them time, anything like that. Then you want to update to your scorecard and pipeline. So as you can see, tracking is very, very important here. You want to do daily tweaks, weekly tweaks, and then updates to your scorecard or like tracking sheet. Next thing is cold email. People think cold email is dead, but it works really, really well if done properly. If you have a really good script and you're also reaching out to quality leads, you want to be reaching out to about 300 new leads, because if you have Instantly or any cold email software, you can easily be reaching out to many people at once. And you want to buy 20 domains. You can buy 10, you can buy 20. It's usually very, very cheap. You just take your domain. You could do .info, .co, .ca, .com. There's so many different options. They're really, really cheap too. It shouldn't cost you that much money. And set up 3 emails per domain. So if you do 3 times 20, it's a lot. 60, you have 60 emails that you can send from. So just the amount of volume you can do from that is a lot. And then from there, you're going to be able to do 1,500 emails per day. So import 300 new leads per day. 1,500 emails per day is sending out automatically. And there's a 5-step email sequence that you're always going to update to the scorecard, whether people are answering, what your reply rate is. So first one, you want to do value. You want to do insight into the market, something new that's novel. Trust, so you want to build trust, case study, reminder that you sent them something in case they didn't see it. And then you want to give them the last pinch. This is like a last little pitch on kind of just bumping this up, give them a little bit of free value, offer them something that you haven't offered them before. Whatever it is, you can get creative with it, keep testing it. It's very, very cheap to use instantly, so you have the ability to do this, especially if you have capital. Then you want to do weekly tweaks. So the last one here is social media outreach. Now I said social media outreach because it's really vague. You can do this on LinkedIn. You can do this on X. You could do this on Instagram. You can do this on Facebook. So it's very generic. So I don't want to just put Instagram and then you go ahead and be like, oh, I can only do this on Instagram. No, you can do it on any single social media channel. We found that Facebook and Instagram for our niche, which is the healthcare, so med spas, wellness, we found that Instagram and Facebook has worked the best. But you could do X. I've seen it work, especially in the info product space and the online space. It works really, really well. But you want to be sending out a lot of volume, 100 messages per day. Just don't get banned. Ideally, you have multiple accounts. You can only do about 30 to 50 per account. So if you do more than that, you risk getting banned. So do with that, as you will. So aim for a 2% meeting book rate. Set up the call recording. The call recording is essentially just your VSL. Evergreen VSL, you send it to them. Messaging sequence, of course, you need to qualify them. You need to ask them questions, show you're interested. Don't sound like this is a copy-pasted message. Ideally, you have some personalization in there, especially if they show they're interested. You definitely want to show some personalization. And then you update to the scorecard, and then you adjust your scripts daily based on what data you're getting from the replies. So that is all the ways that you can start to acquire leads. Now, if you are consistent with this, there's literally no way that you don't start booking appointments and at least getting people interested. Now, if you're not getting people onto a call, that's a different story. That means you're not adjusting accordingly. You're not split testing, and those are some other bottlenecks. Now, once you're getting people on to appointments, this is the exact appointment setting workflow that you can just copy and paste. Basically copy and paste. I'm not going to give you everything because for time purposes, that's going to take way too long. And I don't also want to give you a just copy and paste version of our business so you can replicate our model. But this is basically enough information that you need to be able to do it yourself. So let's say we're doing a 2-call close. So a 2-call close is basically, let's say you sent a message on Instagram. They replied, they said they're interested, you go. Okay, you saw the interested message, you give them a call. Basically give them a little bit of information on what you offer, you qualified them, and they showed more interest. That is the first call. That is the intro call. You're introducing yourself, the company, what you do, how you can help them solve their problems. Okay, great. That's the first one. Second one is you book them onto a longer call. That's a sales call. That's the second call. And this is where you basically close them onto a deal. So the first call, once you book you're not going to book an intro call, you're going to call them most of the time. But if you do book an intro call, you want to send them a thank you plus just call expectation. So, hey, thank you for booking the call. Looking forward to speaking with you. This is what we're going to talk about. And you also want to send them on an email indoctrination sequence. So you're only most of the time going to have their email if you book if it's a 1-call close, because you're not going to need their email for an intro call. So you're only going to be able to send them onto an email indoctrination sequence once you book the demo call or the sales call. And that is something that's going to be triggered in Go High Level, and something you want to do with your automations. And once the appointment gets booked, you send them onto this email sequence. So you want to write your intro call script, or you could just use a framework, but I suggest you use a script because it's going to be a lot easier. Set up the notifications to remind them that you're actually having a call with them. Even though it's only a 10 to 15 minute call, it's still super important. You also want to get to them, sorry, it's a little bit laggy. You also want to get to them within 5 minutes. You're going to be like 4 times more likely to convert them if you can get to them within 5 minutes. Speed to lead is super important. Don't be lazy. If you have a job or if you have school and you have other responsibilities and you can't get to them, get someone else to do it for you. You don't want to be getting someone within, 24 hours or anything like that, because you're going to risk losing them, and at the beginning stages, you cannot risk doing that. So once you're doing that and you're getting onto intro calls, okay, great. You want to set up now Go High Level automations to remind them that they have a call. This is for the second call, so this is for the sales call. SMS reminders too, and then you also want to send them emails to introduce yourself, who you are, results you've gotten, if you've gotten results, and also give them the link to the call, so that makes it super easy for them to show up. So there's a lot of things that you're doing here to make sure that they show up. You want to assume that they're not going to show up. You want to do everything in your power to make sure they show up. And in that, you're going to find your show up rate is going to be so much higher, and also your conversion rate is going to be higher because you're doing so much, you're putting so much effort that the prospects can see that, and they feel bad by not showing up, and they feel bad by not buying from you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some value in our appointment setting process, where you can literally just take this and copy paste it. This is something that I wish that I knew when I was first starting out, and I'm sure some of you out there will appreciate this. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.